Okay, we're rolling, Stacey. Thanks so much for coming back.
Of course.
This is actually the second time recording because my voice was fading fast in our last recording.
Yeah, you were fighting the good fight with the voice.
Anyway, thank you. Can you tell me about Common Form, who you are, what you do?
Yes.
And you were very kind to bring some gifts that I'm going to display at some point, but
Yeah.
tell me about who you are and what you do, and then I'll pull up any of this stuff and I'll put it in front of the camera and show it off.
Yeah. Well, the kindness is just reciprocation. Thanks for having me. Um, yeah. So the company that I own is Common Form. We're a jewelry company and have a small studio in the Cannery District. Handmade jewelry. We work mostly with brass, a little bit of sterling, just in the posts for ear sensitivity. But our goal is to create modern wearable jewelry that's really accessible. We hear a lot of comments about our price point being kind of, I want to say, low or fair. We have people that come into the studio that are kind of surprised, but that is very intentional. It's a big goal of ours to keep it affordable.
And can you explain to me the assembly, how this works, how you guys sort of source this and assemble this, and how that process
Yeah.
works? Because you already told me this once, and I think I still don't fully understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a layered process. We do get some pre-made pieces. We have some pieces that are like custom cast for us. But for the most part, things are hand assembled, handmade, all in our space in the cannery. We're actually looking to expand a little bit right now just because we just need more desks, more space. But yeah, we've got a couple workbenches where we have our soldering torches. So we've got oxygen acetylene torches, same that you would be welding with. But then we use a Smith little torch. So it's like a really precision little piece. So as far as how the soldered pieces are coming together, it's a pretty, what you would expect from any silversmith. We're using flux and solder and kind of putting those pieces together. And then we have some things that are more like assembly based, like the porcupine quill earrings, where we're like getting a piece, finishing that piece, kind of gluing them together, and then assembling it into something that's wearable.
That's what I was thinking. Is it a template that you're following, or is each piece pretty custom, or are they, uh, a bunch of the same pieces essentially that you're reproducing?
Yeah, we're doing our batches right now. It depends on, we have various kind of pars for each piece depending on how well they sell. But our batches at this point are somewhere between usually 20 and 100 pieces that we're making at a time.
And then if the 20 sells or the 100 sells great, then you might do another 100 of that same batch.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully before they sell all the way out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
it's like we get down to 10 to 20 of something we're making 100 of, then we're like putting it back in the queue for production.
And where are you guys sourcing this stuff from?
Depends on the piece. We worked for a while with a laser cutting company here in town they don't really work. The format that we needed from them was a bit of a stretch. So shout out to Eric at True Cut if you're still there. He jumped through he just like did some kind of cartwheeling for us to make those work. We've got a partner in Turkey actually who does some of our casting and cutting.
Okay.
But kind of all over the place. We have some vendors that we found on Etsy and try to keep it local and small as much as possible.
Do you want me to pull some of these bad boys out and you can talk about what they are?
Okay. Yeah, totally.
You brought these last time and I told you I've been holding them ransom from my fiance because I wanted you to be able to talk about them. Sorry, I didn't put them back as nice as
That's
they were
okay.
originally.
There's a couple of fun pieces in here too. Our packaging we partnered with a friend of mine, Yetta Stein. She's in Livingston and she's a poet. And we commissioned some work from her and she wrote these really beautiful poems that we put on our packaging that, she's just so, so talented.
Okay, this one says, strip me down to nerve and gut. It will be easier to endure myself with grace.
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that she wrote?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So she met with us, asked a little bit about like kind of what our intention is and what we're trying to do here, to talk a little bit about, it's jewelry, but we hope that it's a way for you to kind of express yourself and feel beautiful and just kind of like, be your own unique person in the world. And so she translated that into these beautiful poems.
Yeah. I'm in the shallow end. Call me back to the depths. Very cool.
Yeah, and that's actually an excerpt of this this one here.
Okay. I'm going to read them all.
Okay, I love that.
Okay, so she wrote these?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And what's her name?
Yetta Stein.
Yetta Stein. Shout out to Yetta.
Shout out to Yetta.
Yetta Rose Stein.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Paint me. Bear with me, folks. Ready? We're going to get this. Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule Media is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, or passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, post it in your story. That one simple action helps these businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this show keep going. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. Now back to the show. Paint for me the world the way you see it. What is turquoise to your gentle sight? Tell me about the mask that rests on the bridge of your perfect nose. Show me how to turn creation into purpose. I am in the shallow end. Call me back to the depths. That's nice.
Yeah. It's magic.
Yeah. And this is the same one I just read, right?
Yeah, that one is it's a shorter piece, so we just put the full poem on the front.
So when she writes this, does she look at one of these pieces and what you're doing? Is this like, what's the story behind this?
Yeah, the way she crafted them was, I think there's, how many do we have? We did 2 rounds with her. I want to say there's like 6 or 8 poems altogether, and it's kind of random. So we have these poems, which to us, like to me, that's just like a gift to the recipient. It's like if you order a piece of jewelry, you also receive this artwork that Yetta created. And then we put them on the outside of our packaging here. It's like normally you might have like your logo or some version of your branding on there, but it just felt like an opportunity to share another layer of art.
Yeah, that's so well done and so much more meaningful.
Yeah, thanks.
Just to be telling a story and telling something instead of just exchanging a product.
Yeah. And when someone comes into the store, we let them choose. Like oftentimes people are buying our jewelry as a gift. So I'll lay out, kind of a variety of bags and let them pick what they feel like is a good message for the recipient or for themselves. But when people are ordering online, it's very random.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. First piece. Tough.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Is this generally for men or women or either?
That is for you to decide.
Okay.
This is a piece that I wear every day.
Okay.
It's just part of my like daily stack. I love it. I think that it is very like gender neutral. Mm-hmm. We get that question a lot. Like, what do you have in the store for men? And it's like, well, anything that a men's eye is attracted to.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say this is one of if we were to build like a men's collection, this would go in it. Okay.
And did you guys essentially shape this
mm-hmm.
to be like that?
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to trade. I just got a lovely tour of Tim's shop, which I love a shop tour.
I want a tour of your shop.
Yeah, I would love to give you one.
Okay. The bolo tie.
The bolo tie. Yeah, so this is a relatively new, like within the last year and a half, 2 years, we just started getting into bolos. And they're they're a traditional piece, right? It's very cowboy. And I was just kind of picking up on, as you're going to friends' weddings and things like that, starting to see bolos kind of come back in a really modern way. So we just decided to tackle that. And they've been a hit for sure. And again, another gender neutral piece. I think this is like you expect to see kind of someone who'd be in our parents' demographic wearing a bolo tie instead of a traditional tie. And now I think we sell as many to women as we do to men.
Okay. And then these earrings.
What do we have here? What did we bring? Oh yeah, these are our Buena earrings. These are fun because these are gold plated. We just, again, I'm saying recently, but this is like in the last 2 years. Because brass isn't super wearable for everyone. Brass it's an amalgam metal and there's copper in it. And so the copper reacts with your skin, like the acidity of any human body. And these are gold plated, which was such a wild thing for us to conquer, and also really fun because it makes them really wearable. So these will not tarnish.
Okay. And they
But
probably look good with the cuff.
Mhm.
I slipped the cuff on. I think it needs a little bit of an adjustment for my wrist, but
Yeah, I need to give you a little more space.
nice. I just got a new watch. I wish I was wearing it, but it's nice and I don't want to damage it. So I'm like, I can wear that once in a while when I go out. But
You're like, I felt that way about my wedding ring when I first got married. I was like, oh, I should take it off before I get in the shower. Or like,
yeah, I don't know. I
I
don't
need to be
know
careful.
I got to figure out the protocol for how much I can wear it.
Yeah,
But this Casio's
it's a
pretty
good one. It's
durable.
solid.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like these would match pretty well with the cuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I think there's some more.
There's more in there.
Yeah. Okay, and these are talking about what the pieces are. So these would come with the pieces too.
Yeah. Yeah. Some like little informational sheets about us, our brand, and also the pieces themselves.
Okay, I think I saved the one for last. That's your famous.
The big hitter.
Yeah, because this one you got a story about. So
Yeah, so these are our porcupine quill earrings, literally made from a porcupine quill. And we put those in a recycled bullet casing, a 22 bullet casing that we get from a shooting range here in town, Greenway, that's over at the fairgrounds. They're very, very generous to us. We go over there and they let us like just scoop out of a bucket of spent casings. And then, yeah, these are, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, these are our kind of signature piece because these were worn in Yellowstone in the show by Beth Dutton, one of the primary characters. And so it just like put us on the map in a different way.
And are these actual quills or they're just,
Yeah.
you want to hear something really funny about porcupine quills?
Uh-huh.
So my sister Becky, shout out to Becky. I don't think she listens, but if she ever does,
I hope she listens sometimes.
her dog got had a run in with a porcupine.
Mm-hmm.
So it got, had a bunch of quills in it.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, yeah, my dog is full of porks now from the porcupine.
Porks instead of
porks
quills
everywhere, so they're porks in her mind.
Oh my God, that's funny. American porcupines are a little different. These are an African porcupine quill, which they're a little bit bigger and they're just a little different. So part of what makes a dog altercation with a American porcupine tricky is that they're barbed. They're like reverse barbed, so they're really nasty to get out. These are not barbed. They have like a really nice smooth surface. And then we also, the white side that we're looking at here is the cuticle. So that's the part that actually is like
inside
the porcupine, or where it kind of grows from. And we sand those off. And then we have a style where it's like the black tip out, which is the sharp side, and we sand that down as well.
Right on. Those ones sound a lot more forgiving.
Yeah.
The African ones.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just fit in the bullet casing well.
So the whole Beth Dutton earrings talk about how that, when that started and how that changed the trajectory of your business and everything.
Yeah, it feels like getting struck by lightning. I think that in an alternate universe, there's a lot of work that goes into like getting a product placed on a show. But we got really lucky, which is the actress who plays Beth Dutton, Kelly Riley, is the actress. She ordered directly from us on our website. I'm not sure how she found us. The story that I've written in my mind is like she was in Bozeman and found us either at Treeline, who carries our jewelry, or Heyday that carries our jewelry, and then ordered directly. And her order was kind of odd. She ordered in sets of 3s, which I've since learned is like something that you need to do in production in case somebody wears a pair of earrings home and then doesn't bring it back the next day. You need a backup pair. But at the time I thought it was a wholesale order. So I Googled her and was like, oh, this person forgot to put in their wholesale code for this order of multiple pieces, and figured out who she was. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, it'd be so cool to just even see her on the street wearing them.
Have you ever thought of trying to find out, who ordered them or why, or trying to contact her and let her know, hey, you forever changed our life, just so you know? Yeah,
we actually sent her a package to the same address with a little love note that basically told her that, like, this has been incredible. Thank you so much. And also, here's a bunch more jewelry if you need anything on set. We didn't hear back. I mean, I think it's a big production and there's a lot of moving parts. But yeah, big gratitude, and hopefully she received that note, or whoever ordered them
Yeah.
knows what a big deal it was for us.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if, if she ordered them directly because she liked them personally, if
Mm-hmm.
she had an assistant that ordered them, if somebody from the, who does, I don't want to say costumes, but is it
Yeah,
costumes? Someone
styling.
who does the styling for the show
Yeah.
was shopping around. I'd be curious to know how that worked out.
Yeah. My understanding is that Kelly and the stylist for the show kind of co-styled her character. Um, in that, some of the other jewelry that she wore was from her personal collection, and I think that she had a lot of input on styling the character.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I've heard different podcasters say this, and I believe it's Tim Ferriss that said it, that a lot of times if he will mention a brand or a company on his show, he calls it the kiss of death
Really?
because it will make the company, basically explode.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes, too much growth too fast it can destroy. Because I mean, if you're
Yeah.
if you're if you're out of stock of everything and then everyone's disgruntled and you have no idea, it's almost so it's interesting to think of how something like a TV show or a podcast can, like, you said it's like a dream or whatever you called it, but it could imagine if it was too much, and I don't know, it can tank you in a weird way sometimes.
Totally. And there was plenty of that going on for us too. Like that, I can see why that would happen. We had like multiple phases of kind of scrambling around this piece in particular, and a lot of it was the complication of sourcing an animal part. Which I didn't even, when I initially made these and designed them, I couldn't have imagined ordering the volume of porcupine quills that we order now. But we bought as many as them as we could find through vendors online that we could find that were ethically sourcing them, because there's sourcing them and then there's ethically sourcing them. And then ultimately, I think we bought everything that we could find stateside, and then we were in a pickle yet again, and this is like a year, 2 years into making them on the regular.
Have
Yeah,
you have you tallied in any way how many you've sold?
I haven't, but I should.
Yeah, I wonder what your highest, the most you've sold in a week or a day or something.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be fun.
mean, Heyday downtown Bozeman has done a really incredible volume of them. They had a really amazing advertising campaign around it. Um, and yeah, they order them hundreds at a time, especially around the holidays, like the last two holiday 2024, specifically, and then also holiday 2025.
Okay, yeah. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. Nothing happened, folks, because I'll cut that out. Okay, where were we? What were we talking about?
Volume of quills.
Yeah.
Heyday's
Okay, and how
campaign.
many you've sold? And
Yep.
you haven't done a count.
I haven't done a count.
I'm obsessed with numbers, so I would want to know like what the busiest.
Yeah. I'll have to report back on that.
Yeah.
What I can say is that the volume that we've been ordering quills at, it's hard because we don't use them all, right? They're not all perfect. They're not all in the right condition. They're not all the right, like the exact measurement, but we've ordered in the last 3 years, we've ordered 20,000 quills.
Oh.
And you need 2 and a pair of earrings. We're also making necklaces, so it's kind of a mixed bag, but I would bet then that
10,000 pairs of earrings,
yeah,
roughly.
roughly, with some waste. I'd say like with the waste, with the quills that we can't use or that we're setting aside for something else, like 7,000 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still selling them pretty consistent these days?
Yeah, I mean, there's a flow to it, and it's like we're definitely like less and less all the time. Just relevancy and proximity to when the show aired.
Yeah.
But more consistently than I ever would have imagined.
And I think I just recently saw that there's another kind of prequel sequel to the show.
Yeah, the Madison.
That's supposed to be with the characters Rip and Beth. Is that correct or no?
That's a different one. Yeah. So they're doing a Rip and Beth.
Yeah.
And then they're also doing the Madison. Yeah.
What's the Madison? Do you know the characters or the actors in that one?
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually met some of the characters at a block party because we have a neighbor who's an incredible networker. Shout out to Tom if he's listening. But yeah, the Madison, I think the primary character is Michelle Pfeiffer. And that should be launching, I think, in the next couple months.
Yeah. So who knows what are they looking at your stuff for the next episodes?
Not that I know of, but we didn't know about it in Yellowstone.
You should tell them to give you a warning if they are.
Yeah, please give us a heads up just for the supply chain issues.
Yeah, I was talking about that with you last time, and I was trying to think of all the shows all the Taylor Sheridan shows, because it's very interesting. What I noticed as a business owner is that he seems to have a system that works, and he's kind of got this rinse repeat. So he does it, he's got multiple shows streaming and airing in so many different, like almost different genres.
Yeah.
And the reoccurring theme, I forget who pointed this out, is there's always a very strong female character in every show. That
has really stuck with me since you said it the last time we talked. And it's an important part of the structure. Yeah,
it's very cool. And I being so interested in psychology, I'd be so curious to know what, if his mother was, mother, grandmother, if there was someone in his life that reminds him of. So he loves that archetype, that character. And it's very cool to see, because the show, there's, what is it,
1884, I think?
Yeah.
1864?
60, yeah. Anyway, that had, there was, because I know Faith Hill was in it, but then the daughter, she was the one that was kind of narrating that.
But both were really incredibly strong women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the 1923, Harrison Ford's wife.
Yeah, Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one with Jeremy Renner. I was trying to remember what the name of the show is. It takes place somewhere, I don't know if it's Illinois or something. What is the name of that? But his mother, exact same thing.
Really?
Yeah. And she's, it has to do with a lot of the prisons and stuff. And she works in the prisons and works with a lot of the incorrections. And she's just she seems like she's got some very thick skin, and it's just a reoccurring theme. I don't know what other shows he's got, but it's very interesting to see it over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to know what is informing that for him, but I love it.
Yeah. It would also be really interesting to kind of think if brands or companies like yours ever try to strategically insert themselves in these TV shows.
Yeah.
And then some things like that could change forever.
Yeah.
Because I wonder, that show is so popular, the Yellowstone show, if it'll go down like a Sopranos show or Sons of Anarchy, where I think people talk about those shows as being I don't know, historically that show will always be, if people will watch that for a long time in the future.
Yeah.
Or with the amount of stuff that gets made these days, if things just fade out faster.
Yeah, I mean, it feels big. I've actually, one of our pieces was worn in a kind of a smaller, more independent movie, in that we found out about after Yellowstone, and I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. This is a piece that we had designed and then sort of discontinued, which we're doing kind of all the time. Stuff, if it's not that popular, we just are like, okay, that doesn't make the cut anymore. We're managing 250 SKUs. Let's keep it to the bestsellers. And then I was like, okay, we got to resurrect this piece and bring it back and see what we can do with it. And it just didn't, I think we sold maybe 5 or 10. And so it just, you can really feel, I think, both the impact of the show, just how big it is and how obsessed people were and what it means to them. And then also something we got into a little bit before, which is the power of advertising and leveraging it and making a splash online, which I think our partner Heyday did a really good job of, where it was we were kind of here in response mode, right? Figuring out where are the quills coming from? Can we fill the orders that we have? And they were kind of all right, let's go.
That's the power of collaboration and teamwork, when you can stay in your lane and do that, though, because that, as a business owner, that's when it gets difficult because you're trying to run operations daily, you're trying to advertise, and then you're trying to plan for 6 months from now. So when you can strategically align yourself with the right partners, it can make things very cool.
It's huge, yeah. And at the time I was running sort of 2 other businesses. I was running my kind of boutique design firm and also was working as a photographer, so I truly didn't have the capacity to be proactive about seeing this be really successful.
And tell me what year you started doing this?
The jewelry line?
Yeah.
2012, it started as like a hobby, really.
And it's pretty all consuming now. I know you said
Mhm.
you kind of had one. Tell me the name of your first team member and then how that evolved to
Yeah.
your entire crew.
Yeah, my first ever team member was Danny. She worked for me for a summer, which was such a fortunate accident. I wasn't hiring at the time. She just was interested in the business and was like, she's kind of like business obsessed like we are. She was like, I'm so interested in what you're doing. Can I work for you? So she worked for me part-time for one summer. And then when she left, she had been doing some like helping with get me organized and support the design process, the photography work that I was doing. You know, she did some good work structurally and like task management in the business, which I'm really grateful for. Um, and then she also was producing some jewelry pieces, you know, at a much lower volume. But when she left, she was like, "Hey, I gotta go, you know, going back to school and got some other stuff going on." But I've been basically subcontracting to my little sister. So she's trained up
Mm.
on how to make all these pieces if you want to hire somebody as I am on my way out the door. And I was like, oh, no brainer. Um, and that's Jess, and she's been with me ever since. She's the GM of the jewelry line now and really keeps the wheels on the bus.
That's so savage of Danny to be subcontracting her work to her little sister.
I admired it though.
That's true business sense.
Oh
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, and no shade, you know, it's like
Yeah.
they were like hanging out, why not? That's like something I would totally do. It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you wanna come hang out, watch a movie while I'm making jewelry? You wanna make some money while we sit here and hang out?"
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
And how big is your team now?
We're at the moment, we're 8? Yeah.
What, how would you describe yourself as like, how do you position yourself in the business? Do you love strategy and operations? Are you vision and long-term goal where,
Yeah.
what's your position in day to day in the business?
Yeah, I mean, it's evolving all the time. So in the years of, you know, 10 plus years, I guess I was running the design and photography company. And this is where Jess is such an asset because she was like, I was able to be really visionary with the jewelry line and be like, here's kind of how I think it evolves and, you know, give her some coaching and some guidelines and some like, here's what I want to do next. What do you think? What do you have capacity for? What's even your interest in staying engaged in this? You know, because she was when I initially hired her, she was in high school. She worked for me through college, graduated from college and was like, um, you know, wanted to go corporate. And I
Mhm.
was like, okay, Godspeed. I'm so sad. And also, like, I totally support that. And then she kind of 180 and was like, just kidding. I love small business. I want to stay here. Can we make this work? And that was around the time that the Beth Dutton thing happened. So it was really like just so fortunate that it was like, okay, I think that we can do this full time for you. And as long as my outlook is like, as long as she's making her position and anybody on the team really, as long as they're making their position profitable, then it's like, yeah, you can like work as much as you want as long as it's like growing the business and is making sense kind of on the P&L.
She started from high school and now she's managing the crew essentially.
Yeah.
So she grew into that position and
Yeah. Yeah. And also is like, she's just like an old soul and is wise beyond her years. And so I think she always had it in her. Like it's never been hard to hand things over to her. Like I just have a lot of trust for her competency and capability. Um, so all that to come back to your question, which was what is my role in the business? So my role in Common Form for a long time was not very much. It was like, what do you need from me? Okay, I got to go to a shoot. I got to go like meet with a client. I'm going to like be over here jamming on this design project. Like, hey, do you need anything? Um, and then late 2024, like big burnout for the first time. I was kind of like burnout was foreign to me. I was like, oh man, I just like to go so hard. I like to do all the things and it's so fun. And then it was like, oh man, I'm finally at a point where there's like not enough time in the day to do all the things anymore. And I have to I have to sunset some things. And so what I decided to do was for 2025 to go on a hiatus from the design and photography work, which was really hard and really worthwhile. And I dropped back into then the jewelry business and was like, okay, let's give this a go. And hopefully, both in design and photography, it's like I can only do as much work as I can do. You're like really kind of trading dollars for hours. And it's just like it's kind of a one person game. And I have had employees in that space over time, and it's tricky, I think, and creative. And the jewelry business just always made more sense to me. It's like I can see how it scales. I can see how you can train. I can see how you can create like kind of some processes and procedures for onboarding and kind of systemize everything. But my goal in the last year was to really drop in and like kind of do some forensics of like what's going on in this business actually. Is everything as efficient as it could be? And my goal was really to make Jess's job easier. I was like, man, this company has evolved so much and her job has gotten so big and she's like constantly adapting. And also it's like a big ask of her to be running it like an owner. And so I really wanted to support her both in like figuring out how to structure things within the team and create some workflows that would alleviate some pressure from her and the rest of the team. And I think I just like got into the day to day in a way that then made her job so much easier that she was kind of like, what's the point over here of me? And so now I'm in a chapter of like, okay, how do I get out of the way on the day to day while providing like, and this is some feedback that I've received from her and another person on our team that's really important to me, who like runs the manufacturing, runs the team, is that they want more like leadership guidance. It's like, how am I know I don't want you to come in and like notice a thing and then fix it. It's like, teach me to notice and then teach me how to fix. It's like we all want autonomy.
I was thinking that when you were saying you were doing the photography and the other stuff, that could be a huge benefit in a lot of ways because I think, at least for myself personally, I'll speak, it can be an issue of not just getting out of the way and letting people do the things they're good at.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other side of that, to what you're saying too, is you want to at least have a cursory idea of what's going on, what can be improved. So you don't want to be so removed
Yeah.
that you have no idea.
Yeah.
But if you're too involved, it can be to the point where you're micromanaging and you're just driving people crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, leadership for me, going from a team of in the last 18 months from, okay, so if we went back 2 years, I had my first hire and we have 10 now. So
2 to 10 in 2 years.
yeah, so
That's so intense.
yeah, it's very different. And you just learn a lot of it. You learn on the job, but then you
Mm-hmm.
start to talk to people that have done it and see, and it's a never ending learning process, which can be
Yeah.
extremely valuable if
Yeah.
you let it be. It's also just, it's a journey
Yeah.
I guess to put it lightly. I won't complain about it and say it's so hard and I whine about it. There's growing pains, but growth is such a good thing. So you
Yeah.
just got to learn to look at it like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's teaching leadership and teaching people how to not need you
Yeah.
is such an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
Hey folks, Tim here with Mountain Mule. I've got a quick announcement I wanted to tie in here. I'm excited this spring 2026. We're officially going to start doing park tours through Yellowstone Park. These will be day tours starting and ending in Bozeman with custom pickup and drop off locations along the way. We're building out the program now, so there'll be lots of updates coming through, but please keep us in mind if you've used us for transportation in the past. We plan on delivering the same quality of service, and we're excited to be able to expand what we're doing to have a busier summer for the teams and be able to offer more options.
Yeah, I think I've always really like wanted to even, before my entrepreneurship journey, it's like I always kind of my like toxic trait is to like make my job harder than it actually is, to like be adding things onto my plate that I like want to be conquering. And it's like, oh man, why would I get in the way of other people doing that? Like I want that for my team, for them to have a hard job and to rise to it.
When I think about it for myself personally, I grew up on a farm
Hmm.
and against my will or whatever you want to call it, I was left in a lot of situations where I had to figure things out.
Yeah.
It ended up being a extremely valuable trait for the rest of my life. I'm forever grateful for it. I may not have been at the time. And my mother said to me openly, I didn't mean to be too hard on you guys, but I wanted you guys to learn how to do well for yourself and figure things out. So it's to whether it's the right amount of tough love could be debated. But if I think, so how do you build a team like that? I
Mhm.
think to some extent you be an example, and then you almost have to strategically put them in those situations
Yeah.
where you can't be reached.
Yeah. Have you
And they,
considered starting 2 other businesses? And then just
yeah,
being so distracted that you can't help them.
well, that's great. That's why I'm saying it's maybe that I'm sure that wasn't your intention. I'm going to have another
Yeah.
business so that I can't help my employees,
It was not. Yeah.
but there could be very positive outcomes from that. I mean, that's helpful for me to think about how can I create those situations.
Mhm.
You don't want to let your clients down and have operations go to hell
Yeah.
and your reputation along the way, but that's my like the people that do the best in this position when we're out there on the road problem solving. There's weather, there's flight changes, there's all kinds of logistical changes. And when you can problem solve and you don't need to call myself or Nikki at dispatch and you can figure it out and you can just think quick, that's a skill that will be forever helpful or forever useful.
Big time.
But for me, it's like, yeah, you're not bogging everyone else down by not thinking for yourself.
Yeah. Are there ways that you screen for that in your hiring process?
There will be. Because every time I hire someone, and the last hire we made, Craig's ops manager sat in with hiring, and that was the first time I had someone sit in for interviews. And I thought, wow, this is so cool to have a second opinion. So
Yeah.
we'll collaborate on what worked, what didn't, what do we look for? Because now for us, it's more. And I was just talking with someone in the industry 2 days ago about this. What we look for more now is hospitality
Mhm.
experience than driving
Yeah,
experience.
the white glove experience.
Most people can figure out how to drive and learn it. Not that you can't learn hospitality and customer service, but people that have that experience and know that's great. And then the problem solving, that's another element. So you can start to see when people are the full package, what's more trainable, what's not.
Yeah.
Personalities are a lot harder to, you can't, I mean, you can, and I won't say that pessimistically because people can change personalities if they want to,
Yeah, but
but
they have to want
yeah,
to.
you generally can't. You're just kind of, you're glossing over it for a little while, but it'll wear through eventually, especially
Yeah.
when things get tested.
Yeah. I'm with you 100%. I mean, I think you hire the person, you train the rest.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was talking about in like hiring on the design or photography side, which is very like it is sort of talent based and there is like important skill set and there's a relationship with creativity and your own creativity and like marketing creativity. And then on the jewelry side, it's like, our best metalsmiths had never touched a torch when they walked in the door.
That's interesting too. Sometimes I've heard people say that if you have to almost train all the bad habits out of somebody who's too
Yeah.
experienced. So there's a balance there too,
Yeah.
because you don't want to completely be starting at zero necessarily,
Yeah.
but sometimes maybe you do,
Yeah.
depending on the trait.
Yeah. I mean, and I ask you about this, like, how do you find somebody who can like figure things out when they're like somewhere without cell phone service and they need to make a hard decision? Do you need to turn around? Do you need to keep going? It's like, yeah, how do you find out in an interview scenario how someone's wired?
Yeah, and I think the way at least I've been advised to is, situational
Mhm.
interviewing, but it's always hypothetical.
Yeah.
So you got to test it and be creative. But I even appreciate that you're asking this because it's making me think about it more because a lot of these thoughts come in hindsight.
Yeah.
I don't know. The more I hire people and do this, the more I see like I see the clues from the past and just hopefully I work to apply them to the future
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
I've
2 to 10 in 2
yeah
years.
yeah it's but yeah those can be tough it's just a tough learning curve sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for it. I don't ever even want to give off the impression that I'm complaining, because I'm truly grateful for the growth and the experience. But
Yeah.
like, it can be an emotional roller coaster of, dealing with that, like understanding how to, lead that many people, and, navigate different personalities, and when to let other people manage some of those people, so you're not trying to manage them all, and
Yeah.
then not carry the emotions of 10 people in your own. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
It's exponential
It's a good time.
for sure.
And I'm trying to do the same. I want to grow at that rate continually. And the more as I do it, I'm like, okay, I got this. I see how this works. I understand the process. Let's do it. And I kind of told you that now with what we're doing with the park doors. It's
Hmm.
a pretty big upgrade from what we're doing. So,
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So what's in the future for Common Form and what you guys are doing? You said you were just talking about looking for more space. What are you
Yeah.
thinking? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, just more things all the time. I'm like, my mentality with business is very like, I don't know that reactive is the right. I feel like I'm really comfortable just kind of riding the wave. And like, I don't know if common form's going to last forever. I'm very like trying to live in the now. So it's like, how big are the orders that we're filling? How frequent are they coming in? What's our pace? What's our like 3-month trajectory? And 3-month trajectory looks good. 6-month trajectory looks good. So it's like, we just need more space, I think, for literally more desks, and more space for tools and workflow. And I think we've done a lot with a little for a long time. And so yeah, that's exciting. Just have a little bit more space to sprawl out. Yeah, and just kind of keeping the train on the tracks, trying to get out of the way.
Do you ever think to yourself, because you said riding the wave, do you ever
Yeah.
think, how do I generate the wave?
Ooh, I think that I aspire to think about generating the wave. But that's not a space that I find myself in a lot. Um,
Yeah, I find the term lucky insulting to people that work their ass off and build a really cool business when people say that
mhm,
to anyone about anything, because generally what can be perceived as luck is a lot of years of hard work.
mhm.
Looking at the way that that the Beth Dutton character, feel bad that I know her character more better than her real name.
Oh, Kelly Riley. Well, that's
What
Hollywood, right?
the way that Kelly Riley wore your earrings on her show,
Yeah.
and the way that your first high school hire matured into your manager. A lot of people could look at that and say, wow, you're so lucky. Your
Uh-huh.
earrings happen to go on the show, and you're so lucky that that first hire became your key man.
Yeah.
How do you do you think that, it seems like in a sense you could say you kind of attracted those situations in that wave. So how do you look at that all? Do you think it's hard work? Because asked that because you said riding the wave instead of generating it. So do you think, well, if I need to shift, I'll ride the next wave, or now I'm going to generate the wave for the next? How do you think about that? Or
Yeah.
I have a more psychological based mind, so that's why I'm thinking about it. But I don't know if you think about that kind of stuff or not.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard something somewhat recently, so it's been kind of like tumbling around in my brain. Uh, and I really love it, which is the phrase, the harder you work, the luckier you are.
Hmm.
And I believe in that. Like, I feel really lucky. It's also like, there's no question that I've worked really hard to for all of this to happen. I wasn't like calling Kelly Riley every day being like, where are stuff, where are stuff, where are stuff. But as far as the Tim Ferriss thing that you mentioned, where it's like it can kind of explode a company in a bad way, it was like, I'm ready.
Hmm.
Let's go. Like, I'm ready to dig in as the tsunami is coming at me. I'm like, okay, let's go. That's like really activating in a really good way for me. I'm like always wanting to rise to it. But yeah, I think there's people in my life who would say that I am a generator, or like someone who like is like pushing, but that just isn't how I reflect on myself. That doesn't feel like what I'm doing.
There's two things I think about that. One, one thing I work to be careful of, or try to make sure I don't have the belief in my head that everything has to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
So if this isn't hard and painful and excruciating, then I won't have any success with it. So
Yeah.
I do my best to work on that belief that I don't have to just kill myself for
Yeah.
anything to succeed. It can actually be an enjoyable process,
Yeah.
but the consistency and the repetition does pay off over time.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the process, you can let it be easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw, I don't know, I was on social platform and saw a video that a guy was talking about a surfer analogy, and he was, the kind of the catchphrase was "let it be easy," and he was saying, when a wave takes you down, I don't surf. I would love to surf, but I'm not a surfer to like actually know this. But it's important for the analogy, which is that when you go under with a wave and you can't tell which way's up, you can fight and fight and fight to try to like get to the surface, but you might be fighting in the wrong direction. And the most important thing is really to just like let go and let yourself come up to the surface naturally, which you will eventually. So it's like, do you want to be fighting in it for the sake of fighting, basically? Or you can let it be easy and let go.
I completely agree. And that was that tees up perfect the other thought I had. When I've realized in the past, and I used to think about this years ago, I'm engaged now, but years ago when I was dating, I would think, you do not need to force things that aren't right.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what godforsaken catastrophe I might be trying to force right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean that with all due respect to anyone I've, dated or
to all the
considered
catastrophes
dating.
out there.
Yeah, but and it might just be because of me. They might not be a catastrophe to somebody else.
Totally.
But if I'm so hell-bent on forcing this outcome, I can't foresee where that could go in a couple of years. And it took me longer to realize that with business, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You can want every situation, at least in my industry, every contract, every relationship, and one cannot go well and one can fall off. And I can't foresee where that could have gone, or also what other opportunity might be available to me because of that. And that sounds very esoteric, but that's just the way I choose to think about things is so, yeah, I want to generate stuff, but I do not want to just go against, every force possible to like be so hell bent to make this thing work that I've been blind to all the other opportunities. So, very cool that it seems like you've got a good rhythm with, what you've worked your ass off for and what you've allowed to come to you. I think those coincide very well.
Thanks. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like a kind of a woo-woo way to be in business, but I don't know. It's like I have trust in the universe that it's like, I don't know. I don't want to be like making a product and putting things out into the world that the world doesn't want. And so I think specifically with Common Form, it's like, as long as this is resonating with people and there's communities and people, individuals that want this, then I want to be making something for them. And if they stop wanting it, I don't want to be continuing to make it and pushing it on anyone.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And maybe also just involves a little bit of like serial entrepreneurship minded, like, if this thing fizzles for some reason, then what's the next thing I'll do? It feels fun to think about there's something to do after all this.
Do you want to know what I say when people say woo woo?
Yeah.
This sounds woo woo.
What?
All of life to me feels very woo woo. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Our very existence.
Yeah. So shout out to Brian. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but hopefully he'll tell me. He did the podcast a while back, but he said something a while ago and I could not stop thinking about it when we were at dinner. This was a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. He said, science is just magic we understand.
Wow.
I was like, dude. I was like, where'd that come from? He's like, I don't know. I just said it.
Brian.
Yeah, Bryant with a T.
Oh, Bryant.
Yeah. But that's the way I look at a lot of life.
Is it Sturgzala? What's his last name? He works up in Big Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've crossed over with him a little bit.
Tell me the last name.
I think it's Sturgzala, but I've never heard him say it out loud, so I don't know.
But
Really
yes,
cool guy.
yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when you say woo woo. I just think there's so much shit that we take for granted every day and do in life, and the way we can FaceTime and call people, and drive cars and autonomous cars and all that stuff, and that like we have some logical explanation for that,
Hmm.
as if any of us have any idea how the hell that stuff works. But
Yeah.
then anything outside of that is considered woo woo, and I personally don't buy it,
Yeah.
because the whole thing to me is just blows my mind sometimes.
Totally.
So
Yeah. And I think there's more that we can understand through science. And I think that there's a lot that we will never understand.
yeah, I agree.
We just can't.
So
Yeah.
I'm with you on the woo woo stuff, because that's the foundation of Mountain Mule.
It's woo woo.
Yeah.
That's good.
But I just, in the sense that I don't understand all the way things are interconnected and the way things happen. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it requires too, like a little bit of like personal stability in that you're comfortable not knowing.
yeah.
Just knowing that it's like beyond your comprehension and trusting that.
And another friend of mine had said such a cool thing with being okay not knowing all the answers yet
Hmm.
is so valuable. And I always think of it as, if a plant is growing and it's, it hasn't come up through the soil yet, or it hasn't germinated, it's kind of like trying to pull it up out of the ground. Like
Hmm.
you got to let it. So to that whole thing of forcing things, sometimes you got to give things a little bit of time to germinate.
Totally. In their own time. They know when to come up.
So it'll be sick to see what this germinates into for you.
We'll see.
So are you actively looking for a bigger space?
We're working with a cannery to maybe do some modifications in the building to like expand into the space next to us. Fingers crossed.
So you'd love to stay where you are, because you said you do like that spot.
Yeah, we love the cannery. I think, this is kind of a fun, like talk about woo woo, but uh, before COVID, we were working out of a really small space in the Baxter. Loved the Baxter. There's like, for those of you in Bozeman, above their like ballroom, that mezzanine level that overlooks the lobby, there's a level above that that's like a bunch of little office spaces. And so we were up there in a really cute little space that were we maxed out of. But anyway, once upon a time, I remember walking through the cannery and like, I just think their vision for that district is really cool. And I was walking through the building that we're in now and was looking into the windows of the space that we're in now. And I was like, oh my God, what a beautiful space. I think Lot G was in there at the time. They were a really amazing breakfast restaurant that's now is where Shan is. And they closed during COVID, which was really sad. But it was like, even as a restaurant space, I just looked in there and I was like, oh my God, the light is incredible. The space is incredible. That's amazing. And then when we finally, the Yellowstone thing happened, we were like busting at the seams, totally out of space, didn't have enough storage, didn't have enough room to work. Just we're like, and I'm very like, we're just making it happen. It's fine. Like we can just cram another desk in the corner. We'll build something in. And Jess, with her wisdom was like, we gotta move. And I'm like, oh God, it's dark out there. I mean, you've looked for spaces. It's crazy. It's expensive. It's the potential, like needing to build something out to suit you is challenging and expensive. And I just was like a little bit overwhelmed by the process. And as I was looking, I was like, just everything I saw felt depressing. I was like, I don't know how to turn any of this. Like, we can't afford to pay $20,000 a month to be downtown. So that's not an option. Where do we go if not there? And then we saw that space, the space that we're in now, listed on Facebook Marketplace by the previous tenant who was trying to like cut his lease a little bit short. And I was like, no way. We can't afford that.
There it is again.
There it is.
There's your luck again.
That luck. Yeah. Yeah. But I was out there also grinding and looking. But yeah. Yeah. So that was really cool. And it was like, man, this feels above our budget. And I'm also just going to trust that we're going to grow into this. And it's crazy that we're just now coming up on a 3-year lease in that space. And it's like, yeah, not only did we grow into it, but we very quickly grew out of it.
Yeah. I can completely relate, because the shop I was in before was 800 square feet. This one's 2,000. And I was, it was a big step up, price wise.
More than double.
Yeah. Location couldn't be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, man, am I getting too far ahead of myself? And I'm like, whatever, I'm doing it. Like, I'll grow into it. I see where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
we're parking one of our vehicles outside now because we don't have enough room here, and we've been here for uh, just over 4 months. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, now I just think, damn, if we had that other place, we would have been struggling right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's hard to know. It feels like such a gamble.
Mhm.
It's like you have your gut, you have your numbers, you have your vision and the trajectory and all the contracts you're working on. But it's like, how far out ahead of your skis do you get?
I think you have to bet on yourself, and you
Yeah.
have to tell the world you believe in yourself,
Yeah.
and you can't try to do it the other way around.
Yeah.
In my experience, and I likened it to if you hired someone and they said, "Okay, why don't you pay me for 2 weeks and then I'll work?" You would be like, "Are you out of your goddamn mind?" But you'll say to the, and here we go with the woo woo, but you'll say to the world, which to the you're really saying it to yourself, why don't I make a bunch of money and then I'll believe in myself enough to invest in a bigger property? But if you say, no, I believe in this, I believe in what I'm doing and my vision, I'm going to invest in that property, and maybe a few weeks, months, years later, you'll get paid for it. But you gotta do the work up front. I think in the other sense, you're kind of asking for it in reverse. And I think that's, in my mind, that's how I've seen it in my own life.
Yeah.
And mine might not be real, but it's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
No, it
just
feels.
it's just been my experience. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's so relatable. The same. I'm like, it's a little bit, it feels like one part belief, one part gambling, but you're betting on yourself,
yeah,
which is kind of a known entity.
yeah.
And then there's just like knowing that you rise to it. And if you know what your rep price is going to be, you're like, all right,
hmm
let's go.
It's easy to do when you have no other options.
Yep.
So your back's against the wall.
Yeah.
Cool. That'd be exciting if that works out and you got more space there.
Yeah.
It sounds like it will, statistically, the way things have gone.
Yeah. And I mean, and the cannery team's really amazing. It's like we've talked about this for a long time with them, and they've been really good to us. So it feels like it's in the works, but also don't want to jinx it.
Do you do anything at Skyoro?
Not a ton. I love
Mm.
having them as neighbors. I think
Yeah.
Amanda's amazing.
Yeah.
We did make some custom jewelry for them in the early days for their, I think they did like a round of founding membership.
Mhm.
So we made some jewelry for them early on, which is funny because that's when we were back in the Baxter space.
Yeah.
We weren't even neighbors yet.
I was just thinking of everything that's in the cannery district with Shan.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that other Mexican restaurant's good.
Yeah, Plaza Azteca.
Yeah, is that the name of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the new one.
It's like trying to pronounce Brian's last name.
Yeah.
But there's cool stuff there. It's a cool vibe.
Yeah, we're often trying to I think it's like it's such a cool district. It's a cool like neighborhood. And I think there's so many people in the district that are just like kind of like nose to the grindstone. They're just like in their own world doing their thing. There's a little bit of retail on the other side. Like, the Daily's really great. Natural Baby Co. is really great. But they're like, they're like literally on a whole nother road.
Mhm.
So I think people forget that like the district is kind of a winding singular space that's actually quite walkable. So we're often trying to do events to kind of activate the neighborhood and be like, can we do a partnership with Wild Rye, who's right next door to us? Like we have an event this weekend and we're going to serve cocktails with Wild Rye alcohol. And it's like, okay, and then what can we do with, Breezy at the Pour Studio? Breezy and Laurier have been great neighbors to us. So it's like, okay, we have kind of an overlapping demographic. How can we put an event together that works for all of us and just get more foot traffic to the district?
Yeah, that's smart for everyone to collaborate there. And
Yeah.
if you guys all collectively pull in your already existing network of
Mhm.
clients and audience, and you all collaborate on that, it's just gonna, like, everyone will rise and grow together.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cannery's starting to get involved around some like cannery wide events that they're heading up. I think it's more difficult as a tenant to be like, hey, everybody, come to our party.
Mhm.
But as a district, I think they're kind of a powerhouse to like, bring in some big music or, do, we've done like the holiday stroll is a big hit every year. And now we're looking at like we did a summer event last year and I think we're going to do it again this year. So yeah, fun to just activate the neighborhood, something beyond downtown.
Did you attend or do you know anything about Montana Festival?
I have not attended, and I
Okay.
don't know much. Yeah. Did you?
I did last year. That was the second year. This year's the third year. And I feel like I'm going to make this into a clip for Patton because he needs to come do an episode because we've talked about it, because I've
Okay,
talked
come do
about
it.
the goddamn Montana Festival so many times on here. But I had a great experience and I think it's very cool what they do. And what they did last year at it is there's all these big ideas for what they're going to do with the fairgrounds. So they had a group, there were some architects and different people involved, and they came up with different ideas of what they would turn the fairgrounds into. And they made some renderings.
Just for the event or more permanently?
Well, I think because I don't know, I think the city owns a lot of it and a lot of it's a big parking lot and they want to upgrade a bunch of it. There's the ice rinks in there, the ball
Yeah.
field. But the way they were just kind of brainstorming ideas. What do we do with this? I don't know, is it like 40 or 50 acres or something? And it looked so cool. Some of the ideas they had for different walkways through it with some waterways in it.
Really?
And I think what that would do to complement the cannery district, because they're right there, they probably need to make a bridge over, what is that, Oak?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to make a bridge. So, I mean, because that would suck too, because you've seen how the traffic gets there.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm trying to remember the name of the company that runs it, but there's a rodeo series that goes through the summer at the fairgrounds.
Valley
It's
View.
Valley View,
Yeah.
yeah, every Thursday. And it's like, oh my gosh, you can just count the cowboy boots that are like going from the cannery parking lot across
Yeah.
to the fairground. So, yeah.
I don't think that would be if it's just a walkway bridge, it's not I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be
Like a
expensive.
human
But
overpass.
yeah, it's not like it needs to be rated for vehicles. So that would be very cool.
Yeah.
I just think it would be smarter than people because the traffic for quote unquote rush hour times. But it is pretty busy on
It
that road.
does. Yeah, if
all
you're trying
things
to take a
considered.
left turn onto Oak out of the cannery, it's pretty difficult
Yeah.
at 5. Well, shout out to the city if there's anybody who can like make a crosswalk happen.
Shout out to Valley View for coming on the podcast after
Yeah.
after Patton from Montana Festival.
Can't wait to listen.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, that it's a very cool spot, and I think if they do something like this, I'd imagine it'll only be cooler.
Yeah.
But that event is it's a lot of cool. It's a lot of different people that are business owners and doing things in the city, trying to collaborate on ways that the city will grow in a healthy, sustainable, or ideally regenerative way, and not just become an overpopulated city that everyone's complaining about.
Yeah.
Not that anyone is.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we're like if our eye on the prize is like the place is still for us.
Yeah,
Right? It's like tourism's so important, and also it's got to be livable and rich and regenerative for the people who make it as rich as it is.
I thought I said this to you, but I think I said this to Nikki, who does our dispatch today. So I got home. I landed at 11:30 last night, and I'm driving back to my place. It's on the east side of Bozeman. It's almost midnight, and it's just been a long day. I was at conferences most of the day, and then 2 flights to get back here. And I was so excited to be back here. I'm literally music's cranked in my truck, and I'm singing music. And I was very low on sleep, but when leaving here, coming back to here makes my appreciation for this place. So like, every time I do, I remember why I chose to move here.
Yeah.
Which was strictly for the way the people are here and the way I felt here. And also, if you're staying in the MGM in Vegas, no disrespect to Vegas, but if you're staying above a casino where people are smoking indoors for 2 to 3 days, it makes you really appreciate some mountain air and
stark contrast.
Freedom. Yeah,
really stark contrast.
But yeah, to what you're saying, I really, ideally we can maintain the character and the beauty of this place, and it can still be a place that's growing, and it's creating jobs for people and opportunities for people like you and myself and anyone that wants to be in the entrepreneur space or just have a great place to raise kids and live life.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a special place for sure. I've a number of times tried to answer the question of like, people are like, what's it like to be an entrepreneur here? Like, is the design space really competitive? And what's it like to be a female founder? And I'm like, like, I have nothing bad to say. It's like, I feel so lucky, and I also think that part of that is because Bozeman is really unique. Like, I
Mhm.
don't think it would be the same to be trying to do what I'm doing in my hometown, for example. It's like everyone here is an entrepreneur, and not everyone, obviously, that's like an overstatement, but it's rich with entrepreneurs, and it's rich with people that like want to support people doing things. Like even non-entrepreneur folks like understand the impact of the dollar and that they're voting with their dollars to keep us all in business. And it just feels like there's a really healthy understanding of that here, and like a big respect for what you're doing, just having a business,
Mhm.
just being willing to do it, and what that takes.
Yeah, I wish knew this sooner, but either way, the amount of support there is for business owners here, the amount of different groups there are, mastermind groups,
Mhm.
and the amount of business owners that are willing to support business owners at different, you know, different spots along their journey is I it's the impression I got of this place the first time I came here almost 20 years ago is just
Mhm.
there's such a good sense of community, and
Yeah.
the way I can work with people directly in my industry that are quote unquote direct competition, and the way we can collaborate and work together on things, and like that's the way it is if you let it be, or you can just
Yeah.
you know fight the fight you made up in your head. But
Yeah.
I think this is a great place that's that opportunities everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. It feels very rising tides more than competitive.
Yeah,
And I think that like my belief system is just that there's enough for everyone here, is how it feels. Like we don't have to fight over the last fish in the bucket.
yeah,
It's like, oh man, fortunately we live in a community where there is kind of enough. I mean, the housing market is a whole different conversation,
yeah,
but as far as like being in business and it's like, yeah, the harder you work, the luckier you can be.
yeah. And I was just having that conversation at a business group a couple of weeks ago, and they were asking if you think the growth is good. And I come from a very small farm town, and I've seen what happens with declining towns when there's nothing to do and there's no business and opportunity, and kids are bored and they get into drugs, and there's not like a real sense of amenities for anyone. There's not things to do. There's not groups. There's not.
Yeah.
So that, in my opinion, is the opposite of growth. Is
Yep.
when everything's declining. Not saying that means all the growth is perfect here, but it's definitely the side of the coin that I'd prefer to be on, and then work
Yeah.
on solutions for that rather than halt all the growth and watch everything decline.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the what's happening in the farming space feels really complicated. Will your generation kind of live on at the like, keep the farm alive?
You mean my family's farm?
Yeah.
So right now we still own it where I grew up. It's leased right now.
Mhm.
There's someone that's fully operational farm, which is
Amazing.
cool. The county that I grew up in upstate New York, very very big dairy farm area. So we
Okay.
have fully operational dairy farm. Around the 70s and 80s. There was 400 dairy farms in the county, and there's last I knew within the last year or two, there's 10.
Wow.
So whatever. I'm not a full mathematician, but that's like
And is that dairies closing down, or is that also some of them, like,
yeah, consolidating a
consolidating?
little of both. They like it's still a lot of it is still agriculture land, but
Uh-huh.
there's a lot more horse properties now. They're essentially estates that people from the city may have bought as so it's just the way the world's changed
Yeah.
for better or worse, but
Yeah, we can't
um
go down that rabbit hole. It's a it's a wild one. And now I'm remembering too, I think I heard you nerd out with somebody about A2.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's why
In
what
another
do you
episode.
know? What do you know?
I just am like a dairy sensitive person, so I know not even enough to be.
Have you drank raw milk or tried it before?
Mhm.
Do you like it? Do you have a good is it all good?
Yeah, I mean, my sensitivity is to the protein in milk, so it's not like
Mhm.
a lactose issue.
Yeah.
But
So do you drink low fat milk?
I just drink oat milk
Yeah.
mostly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
just off the dairy as much as I can be.
Yeah, we don't need to go down the milk rabbit hole, but that, I mean, that like full circle, that's why everyone wants, farm fresh local stuff because they've consolidated to these giant factories. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah, the market's changing.
Okay. If anyone wants to buy jewelry, come check you out.
Come check me out. We have
I'm
space in the
I'm
cannery.
reeling it back in.
Yeah.
Common Form. Is there anything anyone should know about the name? Like where that came from?
Oh, that's a good question. Naming is so difficult. Yeah, when I started, I was doing everything under Townsend Collective, which is where I was doing the design work and photography work. And then it just became clear that they needed some separation. And Common Form for me was just really, it's a nod to that accessibility. I mean, I think that at the time, especially the designs that I was creating were not super intricate. They were like really, really simple but elevated. So a lot of it was about kind of that, like it being like really simple shapes, common form. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
not a big story of how it came to be.
Hey, it's a cool story. It's a very cool story of how it came to be, though.
Thanks.
Maybe not with the name, but the whole business.
Yeah, just riding the wave.
Very cool that you're generating. Okay, where do people find you online, on social?
Yeah, we're Shop Common Form on the socials, mostly on Instagram. Things repost to Facebook, and we're getting that TikTok shop going. So look out for us there.
Smart. They say that's a trending thing right now.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And then commonform.co is our website. You can also just Google Beth Dutton Jewelry, and we're usually right up there in the top.
Cool. And you can get some of these pieces that I got so savvily hung on the back of the computer.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool. Appreciate your time. Appreciate chatting with you. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm so glad we could both talk this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Stacey, and hopefully some people hear this and come find you and get some more porcupine pork earrings.
Yeah, the porks. Cool. Come say hi.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode, along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.